Good evening, it's Brother Bro here, and I'm at the Cannes Film Festival. I just saw The Plague. This film is written and directed by Charlie Pollinger and is in the Uncertain Regard section at Cannes. This film is about a group of tweens at a summer water polo camp. This is a psychological thriller, and it is very much about tween boys and the way they treat each other. It explores the social hierarchy, in-group and out-group dynamics, and centrally, bullying. And I think what made this film work really well on me is the attempt to get bullying right. I think it often eludes people what a bully really looks like, because we kind of see, like, in shows, there's the trope of like a big bully who, maybe has like two sidekick friends and he's just like out there to like want to kick your ass. But I have seen iterations of like this particular bully throughout middle school, and maybe at times like you have a friend like this, or you just see them as like the popular kid. There's someone who craves attention but also has like a high amount of control over like the rest of the group dynamics and seems to like establish who is accepted and who is not. And I think the psychological thriller element is welcome here because bullying is such a brutal and intense experience. The feelings of shame that a bully can stimulate in somebody, or embarrassment. This film brought me back to moments of just crawling in my skin over something potentially like embarrassing, or when it feels like everybody is looking at you. And it also obviously made me reflect on experiences of like bullying that I have witnessed. Thankfully, I haven't been like too much of a victim or a target of bullying, though I've definitely been around that. And I think everybody throughout their childhood at some point has felt like socially outcast or ostracized or not included. So there is like a whole lot to relate to, especially men. Like if you were socialized as a man growing up, I don't know how this can't impact you. I don't know how this film can't get under your skin. I thought the social dynamics were just so well explored, like that you could probably screen this in a psychology classroom and it would be a welcome discussion piece. Again, just especially the bully, like that character is very burned into my brain. Filmmaking is very powerful and very gripping. Cinematography seems to always aim at being very intense, very tight on characters, a lot of close-ups. The camera work is very dynamic, very fluid, and I was entertained throughout the runtime, like very engrossed. It's a very easy film to watch and get invested into, but I do feel like the film's introduction of certain genre elements, like adjacent to horror, risk making the film seem a little bit like over the top. I was worried that they would lean too heavily in that and then we would get pulled away from like the real substance. And I do not think that happened here. I think this film remained on the rails. And by the end, I found myself like surprisingly deep in thought and really tracing through my memories of similar experiences. I've already seen people mention that this film kind of unearths certain memories, like core memories of when you're growing up. And I think it does that by just being viscerally impactful and also getting these social dynamics and these hierarchies accurate. I think of the film Let the Right One In as an example where I could see like a European film that explores this very topic but isn't like quite as loud in the way that it does it and is just as good. So some people I could see having a preference for like maybe more of a restrained style, but I think it's very entertaining. Like it does make it a little more palatable and marketable, I suppose, when you introduce those elements. Were they necessary for me? Probably not. And if I am nitpicking, I'd also point to the score and say, like, I'm not sure how I feel about the score. I like that it's bold. Like, I generally like a score that takes risks, but I'm not sure, like, it totally resonated with me. In terms of the screenwriting, I thought there was a really strong scene in the middle that I can see people talking about after they finished the film with those they watched it with, because it's very nuanced and presents a sort of intractable tension. And I think screenplays that are approached from wanting to explore a tension but not resolve it, but just like unearth it and make it palpable for the audience and make them think about it. Like there's a great example of when this film is doing that. And it's a scene with Joel Edgerton in the middle of the film. Bullying is such a complex issue and that there's no right way to approach it. Like there's not really a strong solution, like, or else we would have done something about it, right? I mean, it's a problem that persists throughout like every culture and every generation. And it has devastating consequences. And this film really like made me sit with just what kind of impact does bullying have on like our psychology? What kind of impact does social exclusion have on how we bring ourselves into situations and on how we like decide who we are? This film was sincerely interested in diving into these topics, and I believe that as a screenwriter, Charlie Pollinger started with wanting to explore this topic instead of wanting to do like a genre film. Like that was very obvious to me when I finished it. It was a very sincere work of art coming from a deep place. This is a very well cast film and all the performances are excellent. Kaio Martin as the main bully, like that's an excellent performance. It seemed like it was organic, like they found the right actor to portray this. It's very like burned into my brain because it resonates as true. Everett Blunk in the lead role, excellent as well. Really carried this film as a character who is walking a tightrope between trying to fit in and also trying to hold on to your moral center. Kenny Rasmussen as the outcast child was excellent as well. That performance, kind of like the bully, like it also just, I saw many different people combined and like wound up into that performance. And finally, Joel Edgerton is great here, but I think the child actors like overshadow him. Not in that they're better performances, but that they're the more impactful performances in this film. Even though I'm sure that Joel Edgerton's presence will be emphasized in the trailers and he is great in it. I didn't expect this film to make me feel emotional at the end, but I very much was, and I was kind of like stopped up for words. Just because this made me reflect on my experience in middle school, my own socialization, my own witnessing of bullying, my own navigation of that kind of exclusionary culture. I'm gonna go with a 9 out of 10 here. I think maybe if I were like taking myself out of it a little bit more, I would maybe give it an 8, but it felt like it touched so close to home. It just captured exactly what bullying looks like. And if you think, oh, well, so far I've given a lot of high scores to films, I'll remind you that I'm not really reviewing the films that I just straight up didn't really like, or even some of the films I just felt lukewarm on. So, no, I'm not going around like loving everything I'm seeing. And I say that because I want you to actually take my word that these are really good films. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. What kind of names did you get called in middle school?